What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's up, everybody? Sixth element of hip hop. You got the right channel. This is your host Reno Noir, and my co-host with me this evening is the lovely Sata. Welcome.
Hi, Mike. Hi.
All right, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. I think our third co-host is on the way. I don't know. Stu Dog should be joining us. At least I hadn't heard different, so assume he'll be popping in any minute. Which I hope so, because I got some cool Transformers news that he's gonna dig. Sure. But yeah, man, we always have many topics, on this show. It's kind of a organic, free for all. We kind of just talk. We have certain topics, but we like to let the convo organically go wherever it should flow. But one of the big topics that we wanted to stamp on tonight's show is the black suit, Spidey's black suit. Obviously this is not a new thing. I'm not breaking any news to anybody. We just wanted to talk about it, at least partially. Obviously we're gonna have lots more to talk about on the show. Comic Crusaders was good. Get it popping. Got my white truffle rolled. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking. I got it roll. My joints already have gone, but I got to roll another one. But yeah, man. Salute to Al Mega and the Comic Crusaders, who we are extended family of. That's definitely one of the dudes, man, that really helped me get into the game. Sort of mentored me into how to do this thing, and we appreciate him a lot. And he's got a dope new channel right now called AMP, and that is the his podcast. That's the new podcast right there. So it's a straight podcast channel where the new podcast that he'll be doing will be coming out, and I think his first one, if correct me if I'm wrong, is in February. Let me see. Oh no, it's not called AMP. I'm sorry, Al. All right, hold on. Let me get. So Corey, what's good, man? I gotta correct that. Hold on. Let me jump on to Twitter. What did he tell me? He told me what it was, and I went there and I subscribed to it, and I know what it is. I just want to get the spelling exactly right. Al, if you're here, man, throw it in the chat.
He said Al Mega Podcast.
Al Mega. I knew it was AMP, but okay, yeah. AMP for short.
And AMP for short.
Got you. Talking only to motivators, coaches, people, like that, life coaches, that kind of thing. So it should be very, uplifting, if not educational and informational, and always entertaining. But yeah, go definitely check that out, guys, and subscribe. It's going to be very cool. And we do plan eventually to broadcast the Sixth Element via podcast, and I guess it's pretty simple. We can just sort of convert it to audio files and upload it. But getting a good podcast show on a good platform, that's the key, right? Getting them jewels to motivate us. That's right, man. Sometimes somebody can just say the right thing, and motivate you in the right way, and get some crazy shit off. So that'll be dope. And I'll definitely be checking that out. The black suit Spider-Man. So obviously, like I said, black suit, not a new thing, not a new event. Been a while. The black suit's been around, but that's not really the reason I want to do this. Is because my son Blaze, who you may have heard, I may have talked about before, brought up the point that the lore that we all know of Peter Parker's attitude and personality really changing and becoming, more less moral and all that stuff didn't originate in the comics.
Hmm.
It actually
Interesting.
originated in the 90s animated Spider-Man show. Where they
Interesting.
really delved into that. It's like, that's very interesting because must be like a Mandela effect because I don't remember it that way. Like I remember happening in the comics, and I even remembered like Eddie Brock, being there and working at the Daily Bugle, and then it's Peter, getting rid of the suit and it going on to Eddie and becoming Venom, and that's not how it happened either. He got rid of the suit 3 years later in a comic. We
Damn.
were introduced to Venom and Eddie Brock, and uh, but all the media, the movies, the
Yeah.
cartoons, all that stuff, they've brought it together and they've put Eddie Brock. They'll introduce Eddie first, and then have Spidey get the black suit, and Eddie's this
Yeah.
sort of character, and then they bring it in like we've all seen.
So
But yeah,
Spidey, he had that suit for 3 years before it was passed off to Venom. Hmm.
yes, in the
That's
comics, yeah,
honestly more realistic. I kind of like that. I feel like.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't like it didn't just happen like like it wasn't planned. I guess it just sort of
Yeah.
somebody had the idea and did it 3 years later. So, but the way we think of it, at least me and most people, the casual, we think of it being really, all one story, but it's not really. Yeah, the whole Venom thing came a lot later. But Spider-Man, obviously, he's got one of the most distinctive costumes of any superhero. The red and the blue costume is immediately indicative of the character, and has stood the test of time as the default look for, I'd say, Marvel's most successful character. But he's had plenty of different costumes over the years, tons of costumes, countless different Spider-Man costumes. Some of them really amazing looking, some of them really iconic, but none have become as synonymous with the character as the black suit, or was as received as the black suit and as iconic as the black suit. The black suit is really almost as iconic as the red and blue. It's just that big. And at one point, Peter Parker donned the black suit, that turned out to, be a living symbiotic creature trying to control his actions. And now, where is looking back at the character, how he gained the symbiote and how it affected him in the recent symbiote Spider-Man miniseries that just came out, which was really good. Um, but he first gained the symbiote suit in the original Secret Wars comics event. And this is really cool for the MCU stuff that's going on. We got Secret Wars coming up. I'm, you know, praying to the comic gods that they stick to the source material on this and actually let him find the suit the way he did in Secret Wars. But because during multiple battles in the event, Spider-Man's costume was just left in tatters. It was just shredded up and basically
Mhm.
hanging off of him. So he went into the alien base that was commandeered by the heroes and tried to use an alien device to create a costume. I guess I think it created one for Thor or something like that. Is trying to remember, but he tries to create a new costume for himself with this machine, but the machine unleashes the symbiote instead, which overtook Spider-Man's body and became his new suit. And he thought, oh, cool, it's an alien suit, an alien-made suit. He didn't think it was alive, or no one, and there was no hint to that fact at first. That's
Yeah.
something also that came later. That
Hmm.
first symbiote formed a connection with Peter and was able to adapt to his thoughts. And after he came back to Earth is when in Amazing Spider-Man number 252, he decided to keep the black suit, right? And the suit granted him a lot of beneficial abilities. It could morph into any appearance. It could give Peter an easy and discreet way to change his costume real quick back to his street clothes. And it also created its own webbing. So he didn't have to worry about, web cartridges running out or shooting webs or anything. But it also proved to be capable of possessing him while he was asleep. Originally, in the comics, all it did was while he was asleep, it would go and do missions, with his sleeping body inside.
Oh
And the
no.
Yeah, he would wake up the next day just exhausted, not knowing why, and he would have no memory. He would literally stay asleep. The suit could keep him asleep, but also, I guess, use his physical body to do what it wanted to do.
Right.
And it was in these moments that the symbiote's ruthlessness was first displayed. That's how we first saw that. Okay, this thing isn't like good, and such as like in the recent symbiote Spider-Man miniseries, they totally break it down in a more cohesive way than piecing it all together over the years through the comics. So definitely check out that. But in this series, it's called Symbiote Spider-Man, and whenever Peter was taken over by the symbiote, he became a much harsher fighter with a little of the morality that keeps Spider-Man in check, just kind of out the window, and villains sort of noticed the change in him, seeing that his movements were far more rigid, and he was noticeably quieter in those movements, not doing the normal jokey, quips that he would do during fights. He was pretty much quiet, and he began to
Yeah.
depend more on the suit more and more. And despite the inherent weaknesses of the symbiote, because fire and loud sonic waves could hurt the symbiote and even kill it, which gave Spider-Man a new set of weaknesses that he had to deal with. But as we see in symbiote Spider-Man, Black Cat is one of the first people to notice just how alive the costume appeared to be. And Peter still doesn't pay it any heed at this point, but the suit quietly influences his interactions with the villains, like Mysterio, and it even separated him from him briefly to kill a villain that was hired by Mysterio. And when the man threatened to shoot Spider-Man when he was unconscious, basically the symbiote was like, "Nah," you know what I'm saying? Like, killed him. But then when Black Cat stole a piece of the symbiote, she got blackmailed into handing it over to Mysterio, and then it combined with him for a brief time. But he tried to steal the rest of the symbiote from Spider-Man, but it separates from him whenever he tries to use fire against Spider-Man. So it just didn't really work. But when we because it really liked Peter, the symbiote loved Peter. It was attracted to him by his superhuman abilities, and it just became infatuated with him, and it just when he rejected it, and it bonded with Eddie Brock and became Venom. That's the reason that Venom hates Spider-Man so much, is he's really just jealous and mad that Spider-Man didn't want him, and then but he's still got the Spider-Man logo. He still does the web shooting. It it took a lot of the DNA, like it copied some of his DNA and some of his attributes and things, and that's why
Mm.
everyone that gets the symbiote has a little bit of kind of Spider-Man-y stuff, because but upon discovering that the symbiote was having such an effect on him, Peter goes to the Fantastic Four's Reed Richards, smartest guy he knows, to find out more about the symbiote. And it's actually Reed Richards who examines the symbiote costume and discovers that it's actually alive and an alien. And Peter, frantically tries to remove the suit, but it followed him and tried to rebond with him. And Peter was barely able to, separate himself from the symbiote, but it did manage to get his freedom. But the symbiote slithered away and sort of fused with Eddie Brock at that point. That's how we got Venom, and became, obviously history. But I don't know, man. There's plenty of other Marvel characters that have wielded the symbiote besides Brock. Venom is one of Spider-Man's most popular, foes, easily. And but it's played a big role throughout the Marvel universe as a whole, like stories like Absolute Carnage, that explores the long list of characters who have been possessed or taken over by the symbiote at some point in the past. Even though it was always alive, the Venom symbiote really became alive after being separated from Spider-Man. That's what really, what I'm saying, brought it out and made it start tripping. Let me highlight some of these comments right here, my guy.
Oh,
Oh, what's good, man? Marshall Warpath, salute. What's happening? Yeah. We got people subbing over there to the Al Mega podcast. Venom symbiote is a whore, apparently, just switching hosts all the time. Dirty alien. The McFarlane art is still engraved in my head with Reed Richards' huge ass sonic gun ready to blast Peter in the symbiote. Man, McFarlane, yeah, he really killed it with the Spider-Man stuff that he did.
I always
But
really
like I
like
said,
the symbiote run. It's so interesting to me. I feel like
yeah,
they did it best in, I think, like all the animated stuff. I think live
mm,
action, they should try it again. Um, they should try it again because the Venom solo film kind of removed all the interesting aspects of the symbiote and
yeah,
why it went to him in the first place. And then
right.
like the third Spider-Man film was like, no, that
Yeah,
was
no,
just
no,
meme material. So I think they should try again with Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think that would be a really nice change of pace with him,
yeah.
especially because he's like starting fresh.
Mhm.
And if he comes back in like Secret Wars or whatever, and that's how he gets the suit, like that would be really cool. So I want to see
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That I can't wait for that. And it's got to be what they're sort of planning. But I have an article on the site by Joe St. Pierre when he interviewed David. David, what am I? David who? But you're right. Sony botched it with Venom. I mean that they took out the whole Spider-Man aspect
Yeah.
of Venom. It doesn't make any sense. And I mean, yeah, and they kind of did ruin that for the MCU or David Michelini. Okay. And yeah, I mean, not having the Spider-Man aspect, it's sort of like you said, like why should we care now?
Yeah.
And that, but
And I mean, like they could have saved it if they like. I think they tried to. That movie is like not in my head anymore, but I think they tried to make a new like origin for the symbiote.
no, they
And they
did.
could have,
Yeah.
yeah, they could have saved it if they, I guess, did what they did with how the symbiote loved Venom. I mean, Eddie Brock and why he was like attracted to the, or it was attracted to Eddie Brock. Like they could have saved it with that, but it just wasn't.
Right.
It just wasn't gonna work.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah, he was. He was gonna make it a female
Oh
at first.
wow.
Yeah. 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 Yep. That is a fact. But yeah, it this let me see. I got some photos. I don't maybe I'm sure everyone knows what it looks like, but this is the first comic right here, Secret Wars,
Nice.
where he found it. Secret Wars number 8. And this comic right now, value has gone through the roof. It's very
I'm
sought after.
sure.
Super expensive now, but used to be pretty affordable. But and then this is Web of Spider-Man number 1. This is
Ooh,
actually the
nice.
comic where this is the where the symbiote, the black suit saga ends for Spider-Man. In this comic, Web of Spider-Man number 1 is when he removes the suit, and it's 3 years later that Venom picks it up. That they make the
Got
comment
it.
with him, and this is Amazing Spider-Man 258. So this is where they actually Reed Richards determines that it's an alien. So this is where they find out that it's not just a cloth suit or whatever, or just some weird
Oh,
suit. This is the issue where they find out that it's alive. And I always like this one. One of the at it's just like Captain America's like, no, Spidey, you just can't beat him.
wait.
Right. Like, you want to
Like we
bet?
need this the next time we see Tom Holland Spider Man. I need
He's like,
this.
can't beat Fire Lord. Want to bet?
Just to
But
kind of have him lose control a little bit.
yeah, right. And this is the symbiote Spider-Man comic I was talking about. That's it's a mini series, and I believe it's 5 issues. You can pick it up, and it definitely gives a great breakdown of the whole saga in a pretty good way. And
Mm.
this is just one that I love. I just love this one. Like, he's just like hovering over Daredevil, like just punking him,
He's
man.
losing it.
He's, he's like, stay down, Daredevil. He's like, if you have to go, what did he say? He said, if I have to go through you to stop the Kingpin, I will.
I'm like,
Uh,
okay, buddy, you got
yeah,
it.
Daredevil just reminds me of like he's just like a beat dog, just like no, don't hit me no more. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, man, some of the many iterations of the black suit, very iconic. And then you know, the first time. became so iconic that this is the actual label, the logo that Marvel started using. Either this one or just Spidey's head, the black suit,
Oh,
and they put that on every comic. Like it was.
love that.
And then the oh, this is from the animated series.
The
So the
wonderful.
'90s joint, yeah, it's phenomenal. Great Spider-Man cartoon, really really good.
Yes.
Um, Stu Dog said, "Just got out of a union meeting. Meeting. Be on in 5 minutes."
Cool. See you
And
soon, Stu.
there he is. All righty, Stu Diggity. All right, I guess he's coming on.
Set.
There he is, Stu Dog.
What's up, man?
What's
What's up?
happening?
Running a little late tonight, people. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I had to take care of some real world business, man.
No problem.
But we're all good now. We're all good, and I'll tell you guys all about it after the show because it was a very it was a wild experience.
Wild union meeting. Yeah,
They get like
mob,
that, bro.
the mob busting, and the mob runs the unions now. Mob runs the unions.
They argue, but they argue a lot, man. Like some of the stuff they argue about, listen, man. I'm gonna write a book when I'm done my career.
That's what you do.
I'm definitely gonna write a book, man. We gonna get rich. I'm gonna write a book, and we gonna.
I'm
gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book, right? I got to. It's you got to be. If you wasn't there to see it, you'd be like.
I hope so.
Marshall.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It's not.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it can't happen because it could, but I'm just saying I'm not putting up my Secret Wars 8. That's all I'm saying. I'm not putting up my Secret Wars 8 in a bet, but it could happen. It just I'm not betting my Secret Wars 8 on that. But I would hope that Secret Wars would at least lead to the suit. Maybe him finding it or something. But like me and Sada were just talking about, Sony kind of botched it with the damn Venom movie. And it's like, now, how does that? So now Spider-Man gets the symbiote from Venom?
Oh, yeah, because they have that.
But wait a minute. Time out. Wait.
So.
Worm. Yeah.
Originally in the comic, he had Venom, and then Venom left, and then so I don't get how they can do that. I mean, they did. If you pay attention, in that first Venom movie, they do talk about they do explain how Venom got to Earth the comic book way, but they don't really lean towards that's how he got there.
I mean,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
the way Spidey got the suit was he went to an alien base that the heroes had taken over in Secret Wars issue number 8, and he went up to this machine because his costume was all tattered, and he went to this machine that Thor told him makes costumes, and he had it make him a costume, but I guess the symbiote was either in that machine, crept into the machine, or somehow the computer spit out that symbiote machine or that symbiote costume, and he had the joint. And he had it on for a while before they ever realized that it was a living creature. That was in this one right here, the Amazing Spider-Man 258, when Reed Richards discovered that it was an alien. But for a long time, he didn't even know. And in the comics, it starts here, Secret Wars 8, ends here, Web of Spider-Man number 1. That's where he takes off the black suit. We don't see the black suit again for 3 more years in the comics. When it pops back up, Mary Jane opens the door and sees this hulking, grinning black suit, which is Venom. We find out in the next issue, and then we're introduced to Eddie Brock and the whole story. But when you watch any cartoons or movies or anything like that, they always introduce Eddie Brock first, as if he was part of the story and the whole Daily Bugle and everything. But actually, in the comics, Eddie Brock wasn't even introduced until 3 years after they settled the whole black suit joint in Web number 1. All right, Tarzan. I called Zartan Tarzan. I'm sorry.
That's why we trying to bite you now.
Yeah, right.
But it's when it comes to Marvel. I mean, I get the whole idea of making it a little different because it's cinematic,
right?
Like I get that, I really do. But even in Marvel's multiverse, they don't fly too far off the handle with different stories when you go to different universes. Sort of like how DC, when they go to different worlds, they ain't too far off the handle. Like the basics are
Right.
the same, but the situation is different. And if
Mhm.
Marvel stuck to that formula, people would complain less. They radically change a lot of things
Yeah.
based on, you know, the casual audience, man. And the casual
Right.
audience is not the ones that really want to see this. If they don't get it, they don't care. But the hardcore audience, if they don't get it, they do care.
And they will
Yeah.
voice they will
Mhm.
voice it.
They will voice it, and they will beat you down and have you looking like Daredevil. But no, we were just talking about, the topic is the black suit. Obviously one of the most iconic superhero looks out there. But of course, that hasn't stopped. Occasional attempts at improving perfection. There's been many sort of iterations of different Spidey costumes, but none as iconic as the black suit and the red and blue. And it's the most famous, I'd say, replacement of the iconic red and blue, to give way to the jet black with a much larger, pure white Spider-Man symbol. And what drew me to it personally was, all through the 80s, and if you're a kid in the 80s, and Stu, I know you can attest to this, ninjas were the shit. Like everything was about ninjas. Like ninja this, ninja that,
What?
everything ninjas was
What?
the shit.
And they could do magic. And
They
don't
can do
forget
mad.
about
Come on.
Ninja Magic.
Ninja
Ninja
magic.
Magic was unstoppable. Yeah, they was unstoppable.
You
Mm,
know, and
mm,
right.
mm, mm. Yeah, they was unstoppable. You couldn't do
So
nothing
I
with a
seen the
ninja.
suit and I'm like, that's a ninja suit. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, that's dope. That's like a ninja suit. I was like, he was all black, like a ninja, and that's what sort of drew me to it. And I think probably a lot. I mean, that's kind of probably what made it so iconic. But the black suit's alien origin, its sentence and turn to evil as Venom, have been adapted many times in Spider-Man stories. Leaving a trail of history in its wake, but all in like weird orders. And a lot of people don't know, a lot of stuff about the suit. And for one thing, the black suit debuted 20 plus years into Spider-Man's publication. Like Spider-Man had already been around over 20 years, 22 years, I think. While central to one of the most famous Spider-Man stories, obviously the black suit, it debuted in 1984, and that was the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 252, and then the belated origin Secret Wars 8, which kind of came after, but was a prequel. And this was 22 years after his debut. Uh, you know, Extra shocking since Spider-Man 1994, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man, all had the Black Suit Saga play out in their first seasons of their publication. Every single of the Spider-Man titles did a Black Suit run, basically. What a lot of people don't know also, the black suit was inspired by Julia Carpenter's Spider Woman costume. So I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, let me see if I could get a picture of her costume. So the guy Mike Zeck, it was actually a kid, I believe. It was like a little kid, wrote into Marvel, with his idea for the black suit, and they liked it and they bought it from him for like $300 or something like that. Like
Dang. I mean,
for,
that was probably woo, woo, woo,
for him,
woo.
he was probably happy at the time, but Jesus, right? Millions of dollars later. But so her suit was black and white, but had like white
Yeah.
arm, but it had the big white Spider-Man logo on the chest, and that's how. But because Secret Wars was also the debut of Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman. And so compared to the bright red and yellow pattern costume worn by Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, Julia's costume was black with the spider symbol, and the limbs were white, but basically the same color scheme as the black suit. And when Peter first receives the black suit, in his unbeknownst to its true nature, he wonders if his mind was influenced by Spider-Woman's suit. Like he actually goes, I wonder if while that costume was being made, I was thinking of her suit or something, and that's why it came out like that. And that's, very possible. But the real reason that is both that Julia and the black suit were designed by the same artist, Mike Zeck. and this means that even though Julia has no real ties to Venom, her costumes all bear similarities to the symbiote. You know, even when she ditched the Spider-Woman identity for Arachne. Um, what else? Reed Richards is the guy helped him find out the suit was an alien. A lot of people aren't really aware of that. Whenever cartoons adapt the alien costume saga, it's always Peter himself who realizes the symbiote's true nature after it starts influencing his behavior and all of that.
That's
Yeah.
And
true.
in the
That's true.
and in the original comics telling of the tale, he had, outside help from Reed Richards. He went to the Fantastic Four, and the symbiote was even briefly contained in the Baxter building before escaping. But it's a good, and Peter, it's a good thing he listened to Reed Richards' recent What If miniseries, Spider-Man's Spider Shadow. I cannot tell you guys. Go get Spider-Man Spider Shadow, bro. I'm telling you, one of the coolest what ifs out there. It's all about like it's Chip Zdarsky for one thing. One of my favorite authors, comic authors, hands down. And so he shows what would have happened if Peter didn't listen to Reed, if Peter just let the suit take him over, just gave into the immorality, gave into the aggressive nature that it was making him have, and so he was literally killing bad guys. Spider-Man doesn't kill bad guys. He was
No.
killing the bad guys in this one. So this is a really cool, really interesting. It's almost like what if Luke went to the dark side kind of thing. That's basically what it is. Phenomenal. But
Mm.
this was in the days before cinematic universes, though. So Peter visits Kurt Connors instead of Reed, but very cool, very very cool thing.
Oh,
And
I want to
and like
see
I
that
said,
play out.
yeah, dude, it's
I would
phenomenal.
love to see that play out.
It's like 5 issues long, but they could so make a movie or a show or something, man. Like it would be a
Yeah,
great
like
what.
maybe
Do a
like
what if
5, 10 years down the line after he's already had the symbiote, like they come back to that, do a what if
Yeah,
spinoff, like, and just do
yeah.
that real quick. That would be cool.
Mhm.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be dope. Because and Marvel does the what if show, right? The what if cartoons. That'd be a great episode right there. Do the
Yeah.
Spider-Man Spider Shadow.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. Speaking of what if, they're saying now that James Gunn is considering doing a what if type of scenario for the DCU. Uh, it'll be like an else something that DC does. So
Like a L what?
he's saying that now. Elseworlds.
Oh
Mm.
yeah,
DC
yeah,
does
Elseworld, yeah,
Elseworlds.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they want to do. He was saying I was reading an article. I think it was Sunday or Saturday. It was saying how he wants to. Diamond Onyx, what's up? How he wants to bring Henry Cavill in, but in an Elseworld situation. So where they're
Right,
gonna do
right.
whatever they plan on doing now, but also do like an Elseworlds thing with him and his version of
Mm,
Superman.
yeah,
And some other characters that they have planned on. So now we don't know if this is
we're
gonna
gonna talk
come
about that
true.
this Saturday for sure.
Oh, we definitely, yeah. But we
Yeah, we'll
want to
talk
make
about
sure and hopefully we can pray to the movie guys that this comes true, because that would be dope. And that would be their version of what if. Because the what if we get
that.
now
Yeah,
on Disney Plus is great. It's actually
yeah,
really great. I
yeah,
can't take anything away from it, you know?
yeah.
I'm
No.
So
excited for
here's like keeping
season
it.
2. I'm very excited for season 2 with
When
that
does season two come out?
TMA
When's season
Hell
rating.
two?
yeah.
And yeah, when's
Good
season two coming out?
question. Good question. What if season 2? I feel like they put a release date, but I'm not sure. It's
Yeah, I don't
coming
know.
this year, but I don't know. It says
Oh,
early this year, but I don't know
mm,
what month. It doesn't say. So
yeah, there's no official date that I've seen.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, but the suit, the black suit. I was telling you guys that there was a big gap between the ending of that saga and Venom finding the suit, right? There was
Mm.
it ends in 1985, right? You got the Web of Spider-Man #1, Louise Simonson, dope comic. And and it's actually really affordable too. You can get Web of Spider-Man #1 pretty cheap, considering. But when Peter separates himself from the symbiote and believes it to be destroyed, 3 years later, it's Amazing Spider-Man number 298. All right, which Todd McFarlane killed it. That was when he sort of got in the game with Spider-Man. And then Mary Jane, like I said, she opens the door to a smirking, muscle-bound figure wearing the suit. We don't know who it is until the next issue, revealed to be, of course, Venom. But this wasn't just Venom's debut. That was actually Eddie Brock's debut too.
Debut.
And his backstory and the whole animosity with Peter and all of that, fired from the reporting job after his story was disproven by Spidey, was all a retcon. That all came later.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this topic today, because I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, that is not at all how I remember it. So research, man, yeah, it's definitely. But no other iteration of the story has had such a long gap between the symbiote's disappearance and Venom's debut. Most of the time, Eddie's introduced ahead of time, while also being given a more personal connection to Peter, and they sort of build that relationship. And these are understandable changes, since movies and cartoons don't have the same time luxury that comics do.
Right.
But they do have the foreknowledge of Venom's existence to set him up early from the start and make even a better story to it. So it makes sense. But yeah, the vengeful, symbiote returning with a new host is simply a logical third act. And Spider-Man always gets rid of the black suit in a bell tower. In all the iterations, it's always a bell tower.
Yes, it's always a bell tower. That's true.
Well, that's one thing that stayed consistent.
Yeah. Because there's one. It's the one sequence that really doesn't have much difference between the different versions. You've got obviously the original is in Web of Spider-Man #1. That's the first time he does it. He pries the symbiote from his body after weakening it with the church bell. And then, and this scene is featured in Spider-Man 1994, the animated joint. Then you have Spider-Man 3, that atrocious version, and then Spectacular Spider-Man is a dope cartoon. Like as far as animated Spider-Man stuff, Spectacular Spider-Man is phenomenal. Sad, I think you've seen it, right? Spider.
Yes, it's dope. It's great. I've rewatched it so many times. I love it.
Yeah. And it is after all, easier to render a scene which plays to Venom's weaknesses, to Sonic's, because it's sort of that helps like, oh, this is how he's gonna defeat Venom. And so that
Spectacular Spider-Man, the interesting thing about that, they really built a friendship between Eddie and Peter before he became Venom, but they also showed how it was breaking down because Peter was untrustworthy and running off, and Spider-Man. So the way they did it was just really well done. And when it comes time for Eddie to don the symbiote and be Venom, like you kind of get why he has so much animosity towards Peter and why he wants to just make his life a living hell. I just love how they did it, particularly in Spectacular Spider-Man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too. That was one of my favorite iterations.
Put on the black suit.
The world would be a safer place.
No.
There would be no more crime. There would be no more starvation. People like Donald Trump could never be president. It would be a perfect world.
No more.
No one would starve. No more bad credit for anybody. I clean up everybody's credit. It'd be great, man. It'd be great, man. It'd be like Elysium, how they went and set up the services for everybody. I would just.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
nobody would be.
What if? But maybe it would do the same thing you would do with Peter, because it copies Spider-Man sort of DNA and onto itself. While the symbiote was bonded to Spidey, it copied his sort of unique genetic structure and encoded it in it, and his superhuman nature is the reason why the suit was drawn to him in the first place. And that means that any of the symbiote's hosts not only receive a facsimile of Spider-Man's abilities, but some enhancements as well. The symbiote can form, like I said, webbing without the use of web shooters, and then there's another bonus due to their bonding. Peter's spider sense doesn't register the symbiote as a threat, so
Right.
that's
That's
why
true. Yeah.
Venom has such an advantage over Spider-Man. That's why he's one of his
Right.
worst
Yeah.
foes, 'cause he's one of the only
Yeah.
bad guys that
He
don't
can't
trigger his
detect them.
spidey sense,
Right.
right?
Yeah. He can't detect them. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, because Venom can actually sneak up on him. Nobody else can. That is true.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we were talking about Elseworld and multiverses and stuff. Like the another thing about the black suit in the Ultimate Universe, which is another, and a sort of, they're kind of like what ifs if you're not really familiar. The they'll that's called the multiverse, where they'll be like, okay, here's a bunch of stories that aren't going to be canon, but we really want to tell them anyway, so they just create a new universe for it. And so the Ultimate Universe, where everything was like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Avengers, Ultimate Hulk, like that. So they tried to be more grounded within the mainstream, what they call Earth 616 Marvel universe, which is the regular canon, the baseline Marvel, and for that reason, the Venom symbiote was not an alien, but it actually had a more earthbound sort of origin, albeit one that was still heavily sci-fi flavored. But the Ultimate symbiote was designed by Richard Parker and Edward Brock Sr. as a cure for cancer. The suit would bond with the host and heal their body. That's how it was designed. That's what it was made for. In this universe, Peter and Eddie had been childhood friends, but drifted apart after the death of their parents, and reuniting after Peter has become Spider-Man. Eddie has the remaining, suit fluid in his possession, and despite the
Mm.
vastly different setup, the story from there pretty much plays out the same. But yeah, it's actually man-made in the Ultimate Universe. But the cartoon Spectacular Spider-Man, that we were just talking about,
Mhm.
really great cartoon. The black suit adapted over 4 episodes. In the last stretch of season 1, in the
Mhm.
finale, nature versus nature. You see, it featured the sort of climactic, clash between Spider-Man and Venom, and the series utilized a visual cue for the viewer to signal the suit's influence on Peter. By when Peter first gets the suit in the episode Persona, it resembles the webbed, sort of design that the original suit has. And over the course of the episodes, that web sort of darkens and it disappears, and it just becomes a completely black suit with
Black
just the
suit.
spider on it.
Yeah.
Right. So think Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire, black suit morphing to the, black suit that we know from the comics. So like a Spider-Man suit that just happens to be black, developing into this, and but that was Mike Zeck's original design, obviously. But it's basically, a tale as old as time. You got two parties. One wants to stay together forever. The other disagrees, and ends the relationship. Right, and from there, the one who was dumped can react in many ways, but the symbiote chose bitter and vindictive, bonded with Eddie, and attempted to ruin Peter's life in numerous of ways that you can be seen in the comics. But anything but the spite of, if I can't have you, no one can, kind of thing. And Spectacular Spider-Man, the cartoon, makes this subtext most explicit. Unable to defeat Venom, occasionally or conventionally, Peter sort of pretends to desire to reunite with the symbiote, like sort of like, okay, and then and beckoning, his call. The symbiote rejects Eddie and runs back, but gets off, and then I think that's how he gets rid of him. But
Right.
the
Because now I think Flash Thompson has this as the
oh, he became Flash Thompson became
yeah,
Agent Venom, I think, and
Agent
then
Venom.
Right. Yeah. And he was like,
And then somebody else
instead
had
of
it
black,
after that.
white, he was white and black. Yeah. And then there was a special what if. There was a one shot by Peter David, which told an alternate version of the storyline, The Other. And Peter rests in a cocoon after his battle with Morlun. But this time around, the symbiote senses his current state and deserted, its then current host at the time, Mac Gargan. And the symbiote infests the cocoon and bonds with Peter, creating a whole new being called Poison. And that's Poison appears at the Avengers Tower to kidnap MJ. Peter's feelings for his wife having survived the transformation, but Peter's not there anymore. But it's like his old desires or whatever. And after MJ rejects him, Poison flees and pays a visit to the cemetery, and basically proves that one never forgets their first love. And Poison excavates Gwen Stacy's body and cocoons it. And in the last panel of the story, it's like a Carnage-like hand sort of breaking out of the cocoon, which obviously is Gwen Stacy. It's pretty cool. But yeah, like it's just a really simple design with such a complex lore behind it, man. It's just a really cool thing, man. The black suit, man. Check it out.
I think the black suit is dope.
Hell yeah. Coolest
Did you
costume
see?
in Marvel.
Did you see the what if covers for the Disney 100-year Marvel celebration?
Mm-mm.
I got a Disney what if. I was looking at it earlier today. They got what if Mickey? I think it was one of them is like what if Mickey had the Infinity Gauntlet?
Oh wow.
What if Mickey? What? No, no, right. It's what if Mickey
Huh.
and his friends had to save the universe? And I forget what's the one guy, the bad guy. It's always he looks like a dog. He's in the
Oh,
early Disney. I don't know his name. I really just
Goofy?
don't know. Not
what
Goofy,
he
the
kind of
mean
looks
one.
like Goofy,
But he's big.
but he's
He's
big. He's
really
like fat.
big. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's supposed to be
Pete? Oh
Thanos. And
no.
in the
Pete,
cover I
yeah,
saw
Pete?
gotta be Pete.
Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta be
I
Pete.
think it's Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pete's Thanos. I think Pete is Thanos.
Oh
And
Nice.
then the
yes, I'm
rest of
looking
the
at it.
Disney characters are
That's on Disney Plus.
they're all no, it's gonna be a comic. It's gonna be a comic. Because Disney's
Oh,
doing the that's one of the variant covers for the Amazing Spider-Man
Yeah, this
23,
variant
the
cover
Disney
is
100.
dope.
dude, I can't find it. Let's
Um,
see.
Yeah, and they're
if
going
you
to
go
sell
to
in the spring.
What'd you look?
comicbook.com, that's where I'm looking right now.
Oh,
Um, but
And
on
then you
Google,
got
I just searched
Amazing,
up Disney What If 100th anniversary, and then
right? Yeah, because you got Amazing, and they're all going to be Spider-Man. I mean, not Spider-Man comics. Amazing. So you're
trying
going
to
to
get the
be,
picture. Yo,
I think it's like 23, 25, and
cannot find it.
27, something like that. I know they all going to sell in the spring. They start in the spring.
yeah. Oh,
And
we
the
got
one I saw
Mickey
earlier had
as
the
Iron Man. Nice.
Yeah, I can't find it. It's not coming up.
Oh, dang.
Not coming up. Go to you know what?
Wait,
Type
wait.
in
I found something. I found something. I
type in
seen this.
Marvel
Wait.
Comics celebrates 100 years of Disney with variant covers.
Okay. Let me try that. Because I do see these like variant cover. I see one with Hulk with Goofy. I see Avengers with Mickey. Is that them?
Yeah.
It's like an
That's
old.
the it's like it's red. It's a red. Was it a red cover?
Yeah, it's like
Um,
red. They're in shadows.
all right.
Yeah, I
Q,
seen
what'd you
that
tell
one
me to
earlier.
type? What'd you tell me to type?
Type
Q?
in type in Marvel Comics celebrates 100 years of Disney with variant covers
Okay.
starring Mickey, Minnie Mouse. Or go to marvel.com. Just go to marvel.com.
This has to work. All right. I got it. Thanos. Yeah. Pete. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. It was the Goofy and the Hulk. Okay. Let me get some of these joints. There's one. Da, 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 da. Oh, great. They're gonna make me do fucking screenshot, snipping, clipping.
Got it.
All right. Here's one. Here's one with Goofy, the Hulk, right there. Goofy on the Incredible Hulk. So yeah, it's just like Goofy instead of. So they're basically replacing, the comic characters with Disney characters,
Oh, I
much
didn't
like my
see that.
man. Yeah, much like my homie Beto Art replaces them with MCs. So you got like he replaces the comic characters with these rappers. It's basically the same idea. They're just replacing them with Disney characters.
Yeah,
Um,
they got the Infinity Gauntlet.
yeah,
So that one's really dope. The
yeah, I
new
like that.
Avengers, and then Invincible Iron Man. Those are the ones I see so far. And then that one, the one you showed.
Yeah, check this one out. This is the Infinity Gauntlet. This one is cool. This one I would actually cop. That's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
Yeah, that
yeah.
one. That's what I was talking about. That's my
That is
early
hot.
one. That I like. That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely rock with that.
Yeah,
Hardy
I don't need
boy,
all
what
of
up?
them.
Well, you
Hardy
say
boy,
hi to
what's
Sada.
up, baby? Hardy boy, what's
Oh,
No,
up,
my
he said
bad.
hi to you first.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, dog. I see. All right. Yeah. What's good, man?
The
Lito
Mickey one
J.
with the Mickey one with
What up,
Iron
bro?
Man is dope too. The Lito
Yeah.
J.
Yeah, I
What's
like that
up?
one too. I would get that
Yeah,
one.
that one is. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tag and slap him, Reno. I don't. I'm just gonna have to tag and slap him
Man,
for the
man.
grip.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm
Can
gonna
I
have to hit
find?
him up.
Oh, that Mickey. Yeah, Oh, okay. Here, check this out. I got 3-in-1. Here we go. Boom. Check it out. Oh wow. There's a gang. There's actually a bunch of them. I'm surprised how many there is. Hold on. Let me find this one. There we go. There. So you got the new Avengers and the Iron Man Mickey right there, and the Gauntlet.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
dope.
those are
That's
pretty
dope.
dope.
That Mickey one right there with the
Yeah,
Iron.
Invincible Iron Man.
That's fire.
That's
Yeah,
your joint.
that's fire. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
joint right there. That's fire.
Speaking of
And
your
we
joint, I got something to tell you, Stu.
yo, is that Grap right there? Grap, what's up, man?
What's up,
Happy
y'all?
New Year, brother, man. Happy New Year, man.
What's
Rap
good?
lover in
What's
the
good?
house.
Right, love in
What's
the house,
good?
man. Happy
Checking in,
New
checking
Year,
in,
man.
Salute. What's
Checking
happening?
in.
salute,
Oh
checking
man,
in.
that's
What's
good.
going on? Y'all all
I
right?
sent you the
Nothing
link. You
much,
know you
man.
got the
Yeah,
link,
yeah.
man. You can always
Huh?
Man, how was your
on.
New Year?
I email
It's
you the
good,
link
man.
every show.
Yeah,
Word. I just
Yeah, man.
I don't be able to do it all the time. You know what
Nah,
I
I
mean?
know, man. You're always welcome, though. You
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. I
Man.
just
Nah, we
I
get
just
it,
want to
man.
come in real
The
quick
world
and
is
say,
returning back to normal, man.
huh? You say
I said the
what?
world is returning back from the world is coming out of that pandemic stage, man. So we got to get
Yeah,
off of these screens more often and get back to some
to living.
get back to
Yeah,
some reality. Yeah, get back to some
that's what
reality.
I've been on my drum machine for real. That's what I've
Yeah.
been messing with.
Okay, all
So.
right.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
But I
you
wanted to
going?
say, guys, the y'all remember in the Fox series with the symbiote suit, he
Mm-hmm.
called himself Black Spider-Man in that
Did he?
series. He
Did
actually called himself Black, like not the Black. He called
Right.
himself Black Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which
He
was
ain't say
crazy to me. Like,
Black Suit Spidey. He said the Black Spider-Man.
yeah,
Yep.
that was
And
crazy to me.
hell yeah.
Man,
It
we
reminds me
we
of
went
like
crazy for the black suit Spider-Man, bro.
Yeah, we did.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
And I remember too, Reno, with the little joint in the corner of the comic, either at the top or the
yeah,
bottom.
they used to have it.
It
They
was
always had a
always
black.
at the
Yep.
bottom. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember that.
Hell
And
yeah.
that was and Secret Wars, like that when that black suit came through, it kind of turned Secret Wars out, yo.
Yeah, bro.
Like when he came through with that,
It
yo,
did.
and that cover right there, it's
Changed the game.
illmatic, man. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
That's
yo.
where they ended it.
That's where it ended at.
That web Spider-Man.
Yeah, the saga.
wow.
This where
This is where
Peter. That's where they got rid of the suit. And it
Okay.
wasn't until 3 years later that they introduced Eddie Brock and Venom and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this was the
Yeah, I
issue
was watching.
where
I was watching.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Say my little 2-piece and slide out.
Nah, yeah, appreciate that, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, I remember when Venom came out, man. That was a big. I actually have the original. I have his original #1 solo comic when he did when it first came out with the lethal protector. I actually had it first. Because I remember when I went and got it. I left school. I was in high school then, but I left school early just to go get it. Because I was like, damn, it come out today. So I left my last period was gym, and I skipped gym and went to the comic book store. Luckily I went because it was a
You
line.
like
It was a
that.
line out there. Yeah, it was a line out there when I went to go get it. I was like, yo, it's a line out.
I remember me and my
got a
brother
copy.
used to ride to get comic books. Like he would ride me on the back of a bike,
Yeah.
and we would go to this spot like where we lived. It was like all the way on the other side of town in Mount Vernon, and it was called J&R Stationery, and they had a whole comic book section in the back, like a whole nother room.
Yeah.
It was a stationery store, and then in the back it was like comic books hung on the walls, like a small little space, but it just looked like heaven in there. It was just
That's dope.
colors and characters and books and ill covers, yo. You just look back, they're like,
yep, that's true.
Yeah, we went there a lot. We had a place. We had that place. We had a place called Dragon's Den. It was in Yonkers, New York, and we had a place called Heroes World. That was like they had started franchising the Heroes World. They did one in White Plains, New York, in the Galleria, and that was And my brother, when we were younger, he ordered Hulk muscles.
The Hulk muscles, yeah,
the blow up. Remember the blow up Hulk muscles?
Yeah, I remember that.
No, he had them joints. Like y'all don't understand how obsessed he was with the Hulk. He had them joints, and he wore them every day that he had them. He wore them.
He's talking about Pete Rock.
He was talking about Pete Rock. On, he put them on and blow them up. And the dude, and it was like this dude in our neighborhood, like that. We had a gas station, like right at the corner of our neighborhood, and we had to walk past there to go to the pizza shop because that's where we hung out at. We played video games and ate pizza all day up in there. Yeah. And the park was right around the corner, Lorraine Park, where we all hung out at. So as my brother was walking through there one time, he had on the Hulk muscles with his shirt on. And the man, the gas station man said, "Hey, Muscles, what's up, Muscles?" Yo, started calling him Muscles from then on, yo, till he was like a teenager. Till he damn near was a teenager, and the dude, left the station. Like he called them Muscles up until then, man. So like, and I told y'all the two pictures he had on the wall was the plaque from Biggie and a poster of the Hulk. That was it. Yeah. That's so like he was always on comics. And one day, like we went to J&R, and homie stole the bike. The bike we rode on. Somebody stole that joint. He had to walk all across town and back home. Word up.
Hey, remember those days, Cap? You had to watch your bike, man. You either had to hide in the bushes. You had to do something.
The bike
you had to do something. Yeah, you couldn't go in the store and leave that joint out there.
Bike though, bro. The thing is, it was a horrible bike. It was a company called Iverson. I never heard of Iverson bikes. I never heard of that.
Nah, I never
heard
of it.
And it was like we had just got it from like a thrift store or something. We used to just buy bikes with whatever, to just pick them up, whatever. So it had two handlebars that came up like this out of a pole, I don't know, it was weird. It came up, and the handlebars came up and went like that, and they were separate. So it was like two little poles that came up, and you held the handlebars like this. Well, one of the poles broke. We stuck a broomstick in that joint. Kept it moving. They stole it with a broomstick in there, yo. They stole it like that.
Get out, man.
Yeah, they stole it like that, man.
Whatever, yeah.
But yeah,
I had one stolen one time. I went in the store for a second. Just a second. I went to get a Slurpee. I was thirsty. I was coming from my boy's house. So let me stop and get a Slurpee. Went in there, went to pay for it, came out, gone. I ain't even seen when they took. I was like, yeah. I had to walk home from there. I was like, dang. I came in the house and my mom was like, where your bike at? I was like, somebody took it. She was like, and the first thing out her mouth was, well, it's gonna be a long time before you get another one.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
I was like, I mean, and it was a 10-speed. Like you said, it wasn't even that great. It was kind of raggedy, but I had it for years, man. I had it for about 3-4 years. Yeah, man. It was a blue 10-speed. It was a Schwinn. It was a Schwinn joint. But it was old, and it only had front brakes. The back brakes didn't work, so I only had the front brakes. So you couldn't go too fast and hit hit the brake or you would tip over. So you had to kind of like,
This is hard.
Yeah, man.
So I don't mean to take y'all off topic, but I'm gonna go back to my boy Spidey, the black suit.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal time for Marvel, man. Like that, that's their flagship character. You know what I mean?
That's their Superman.
And throw him in a black suit, and then But the piece I never liked about the Fox show was that whenever period with the black suit, like just the fact that the black suit was associated with aggression and negativity. You know what I mean?
And that show is
we as a people, we're not black per se, you know what I mean? But still, in terms of how it's the connotation,
like black being evil or
and aggressive and angry, and because he definitely reminded me of an angry black man. And some of them scenes that cartoon, he was going ham, like a thug almost. You know what I mean? So,
and a lot of people don't know that whole thing of Peter being aggressive and changing his personality and all of that came from that Fox cartoon. It was not from the comics. That shit was picked up later.
Wow.
In the comics, the suit would just take him out while he was asleep.
He would be asleep, and then he would wake up and never knew what happened. He'd be like,
like the movie when he woke up that time, he was upside down.
Yep, wow. And that was how it was. And then but that cartoon added the part about him being, and they did that to explain why Venom was so mad and why Eddie was such an asshole and all that. That's why they added that in.
Okay,
but that was actually not from the comics, but
because if you think about it, with Venom, when he finally comes about, like Stu said, he called himself a lethal protector. You know what I mean? He called himself the lethal protector. So
once he started
I guess that evil element really wasn't there for this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Fox did it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, I'm learning stuff, y'all. So I'm tuned in, bro. I'm tuned in, fellas. And then I usually have a Monday thing that I watch every Monday. It's like news for me. It's like a news podcast. It's called Urban X Podcast. Really, really good podcast. So that's why I'm always rocking with y'all. I'm usually on that. But what I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna try to come in on Mondays at early, you know what I mean, like at maybe like 6:30, and just rock with y'all for like an hour or something like that.
That'd be great, man.
With my baby girl right here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna slide out, man.
All right,
yo,
man.
just seeing y'all. Salute to all the people watching. Stay on this, yo. This is good energy, good vibes. It's a Monday, you know what I mean. Sometimes your work day is crazy. Start off crazy. You could come home and get into some comic book love and listen to some people who love talking about comic books and dope, action movies, all of that stuff, Marvel, DC. So make sure y'all tuned in. Thanks to everybody that's here tuned in. Salute. Reno, Blue Dog, love you.
Love
you. Same to you, man. Love you too, man.
All right, I'll see y'all in a minute, man. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace.
All right, baby. I'll see you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right here. That's Pete Rock and CL Smooth. That's who Pete Rock is. So that's his brother. That's who he was talking about with the Hulk hands and all of that. Y'all know who Pete Rock is, and that's who he's talking about. And Grap has been on a bunch of time, man, talking about his childhood and stuff growing up with Pete and being into comics and all of that. And we still want Sada to get Pete on the show.
I'm telling you, it's rough for me. I can't even get him on Insta.
I'm just kidding, man. Oh shit, I wanted to play this, man, for Grap, man, real quick, man. Listen, so this was dope, and Grap would have loved this, but this is maybe he's watching. This is Stan Lee in an interview about Spider-Man. That's what he said.
His costume was. He is completely covered. So any kid could imagine he's Spider-Man because no color of the skin shows. He could be black under that. He could be red. He could be yellow. He could belong to any race. And that wasn't done purposely. It was done accidentally. But I think it was the best thing we did, making him so that he could be anybody under that costume.
Did you hear what he was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically saying like, that his suit, being covered head to toe, any kid could sort of imagine themselves in that suit,
Yeah,
and
and that's the beautiful thing about the Spider-Verse film that's coming out this year. Literally, that's gonna happen because there's infinite amounts of Spider-Man, and they're all, of different race and backgrounds, and so that's the great thing about it.
You know what? I was watching Al Mega and Doji Saturday while I was getting dressed for work, and Al came up with, and this is something I gotta ask y'all too. Al was like, when is Peter Parker gonna invent a suit that don't get ripped up? So because he was like, every time he get into a fight, he said other superheroes, their costumes don't get ripped like that, but he said Spider-Man is always ripped. It's always ripped in the crotch and always the arms and the face. And he was like, when is he gonna make a suit that can't get ripped, or doesn't rip? And he was like, you would think he would have one already.
I think when he's rich, that's when that'll happen. When he can afford, material that won't rip easily. Yeah.
This one might qualify. He's got a lot of armor, like armor suits like this, suits with really thick, sort of armor plating or different, shit like that. So he does have a couple of suits that could withstand some tears. But that's kind of iconic with Spider-Man, is that battle damaged look with the one eye ripped out, and you some hair coming out of his, and that's sort of part of his character is getting beat up. Like that, Spider-Man takes beatings. That's one thing that he really does well.
He does. Yes, he does.
When he comes across some money and it doesn't have to go towards the rent, right? When he's a billionaire, that's when his costumes won't rip anymore.
Right.
But otherwise, I don't know about that one, buddy.
And they purposely, and that's another thing. Like, you can't tell me with his powers, with all his billionaire friends. I mean, he's best friends with billionaires. He does not have to be broke.
But he's humble, so he's not gonna. He's not gonna take handouts. Well, that's how he would perceive it.
But that's all by design. Like that's on purpose. Because it's sort of, I think it makes him relatable. Street level hero and all of that stuff, and it makes him relatable, and like, you can wish you were Batman, but you really can't imagine yourself as Batman because you don't have endless funds or unlimited funds or Iron Man or whatever. But anybody can throw on some a skin tight onesie, right, and jump out the window. You might land on your head, but you can do it.
Do it, right?
Yeah, his Fantastic Four suit might have been tear-proof. Yeah,
it might have been.
Jaguar.
I think you know what I think it was, because I know Reed Richards. I think their suits are made of unstable molecules or something like that. Like Spider-Man 2099, his suit is made of unstable molecules. So Peter Parker needs to get him some unstable molecules and do what he got to do.
All black, baby. That makes him dope. But that's what, like Hardy Boy saying, he's just an average guy. He
is just an average guy,
and he will never stop fighting. Average guy who will not fight. I mean, he will never stop fighting.
The same way. Daredevil's the same way. He's just an average guy. He's got a little bit of something going on.
But he is like a low level. I guess you could call it low level lawyer. I mean,
he takes a lot of pro bono.
But he did that on purpose. We do know he takes the pro bono. He does the pro bono on purpose. But and he's had. And speaking of another hero, he's had a lot of different suits. Daredevil's had a few different suits. He's got a new one now.
Oh yeah.
But they never, for some reason, they don't come off as well as when Spider-Man gets a new suit. Spider-Man gets a new suit, everybody goes crazy. Daredevil gets a new suit, we're like, oh, that's cool. But
I don't know. I mean, Daredevil, because like the ones that pop in my mind are the yellow and red, and then of course the red, and maybe that's what it is for most people. Like those are the two that pop in. So when he gets a new suit, it's just kind of like, oh, whatever. Spider-Man, it's just like a slew of costumes. Like you could point out at least 5 in your mind. So maybe when he gets a new suit, it's like, oh my god, and add it to the collection or whatever.
Yeah,
because when you play the games, they have a lot of the suits in there. I like to use the 2099 suit. That's the one I always use. I don't use any other one. Once I unlock that, it's a wrap. That's all it's
no.
Once I unlock that, that's my goal. Once I get that unlocked, it's a wrap. You can't. Yeah. It's just a wrap.
For me, it's the black suit. Always the black suit. Always the black suit. But I might do like if they offer like, if you could find the Amazing Fantasy 15, like the very first iteration, like I like that suit too. Because black and red instead of blue and red. That's originally Spider-Man was originally supposed to be black and red. He became blue and red because of ink and comics, and you can't really show much detail with solid black, and so they used a lot of blue to make the and then it ended up just being blue, which is why, like in this animated cartoon, you see the blue outline on him.
Yeah.
Venom has red and blue. Like when he's Venom, he's got like red and blue, half red, half blue all around his body. But Daredevil, speaking of Daredevil's new suit, Chip Zdarsky, Daredevil is crazy. Like I said a million times, definitely the best Daredevil run in my opinion. And this seems like a new suit. Definitely seems to be violet in color or purple in some way. Looks purple to me. But that is from the cover of this Daredevil #7 that just came out. As Daredevil, both Elektra and Matt Murdock have made a home for supervillains at the new stronghold of the Fist. Betrayal, as Daredevil, both Elektra and Matt Murdock made a home for the supervillains at the new stronghold of the Fist again, but not everyone they've welcomed shares their vision for how things should be done. In this issue, that's going to cost them and put them on a collision course with the rest of the Marvel Universe. But yeah, it's that'll be out. What? Today's Monday. It'll be out Wednesday. So Wednesday, check that out if you like that cover, Daredevil. But if you're not reading Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, man, you're just
missing out.
You're not doing comics right, man. You're not doing it right.
Yeah, I haven't read Zdarsky's Daredevil. I know Batman, the failsafe joint he did was
if you like Zdarsky's Batman, yeah, bro. If you like his Batman, you'll love the Daredevil. But no, that suit, it just looks purple on the cover, but it's not actually purple. It's just sort of a coloring thing for maybe the explosion mixed with red. That cover. It's not purple in the comic. It's just purple on the cover. But this is, and then you see Punisher here with his new logo on the right and the old logo on the left. Wielding katana.
New logo.
Nobody likes the new. Al Mega said he doesn't consider that Punisher until he gets his old logo back. I kind of agree with him.
Yeah,
because we're just so used to that. Like we're not.
Well,
I get why they did it, but
they take away his guns. Yeah. That's my problem. New logo, whatever, but taking away his guns. Now he just wields blades. Punisher's whole fucking thing is guns. That's his whole shtick. That's his power. He got unlimited arsenal.
Mini guns. He got mini guns too.
He's got whole comic books that are just cover to cover a list of his guns. The whole comic. It's just a list of his arsenal. I mean, like that's his thing. So you take that away, and it's like, I get it. Gun violence and all of that's going on in the country. And of course, school shootings and mass shootings and all of that. And that's sort of their, thinking on changing it. And I get that, but I don't really agree. I don't agree that comic books are affecting that in any way. Just like they're not going to take guns out of all movies. They're not going to take guns out of all TV shows, as long as there's action movies, as long as, then don't come after comics. Okay. Don't come after hip hop music. Don't come after nothing until you talk about action movies. All right. Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of that. Like that was the most violent shit anybody saw or heard. So, no.
Violent.
Mm-hmm.
Things are just different nowadays, because remember when we were younger, there was certain stuff our parents just wouldn't let us watch. They'd be like, no, you can't see that. I mean, they just nowadays parents be like
more unfiltered.
they did, yeah. They just be like, boy, get out of here, and as long as they're not getting on the parents' nerves, they let them watch it. So
honestly, the only thing I couldn't watch was porn. Like that, like if it wasn't porn, I could watch horror movies. Forget about it. Didn't matter. Like they let me watch anything. Like Jason, Friday the 13th, whatever. I could be 5 years old, whatever it. Because I don't know. Maybe they thought I was like mature enough or whatever to understand it, but honestly, it didn't affect me in like a negative way. It made me interested in being creative in special effects and film, and that's I ended up by 10 years old. I wanted to be a director. What 10-year-old wants to be a director? So that was just something.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, but
Reno, I had to sneak and watch Purple Rain when it came out when I was a kid.
Purple
Rain. My mother said, "You will not be watching that."
I sat next to my auntie and watched Purple Rain, but she was probably 20 at the time. But yeah, I mean, I remember watching Purple Rain.
Yeah, my dude would be like, "You will not be watching that, sir."
I think I saw glimpses of it when I was young, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just stay away from that for a little bit."
I had to sneak and watch Porky's. I had to sneak and watch Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Yeah, that I had to sneak. Like my cousins and shit. We would watch shit like Porky's and shit, Ridgemont and stuff like that. Yeah, but horror violence was never an issue. Like sex and stuff wasn't it. Like porn, borderline.
Yeah, you can watch anything. Yeah,
whatever you want to watch.
Yeah, violence. They really didn't. It wasn't really too bad. Like we watched something one time, and my mother was listening, like she saw it, and she was like, "Wow," she was like, "That's violent. Y'all got to turn." We was like, wait a minute. We grew up on violence. We grew up on that. Yeah, Porky's Revenge.
Porky's Revenge.
Yeah, we grew up on violence. Remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger came up with Raw Deal and all that? Those movies are great.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Raw Deal, fuck Commando. Come on,
Commando. Yeah, bro. We were like, what? My mind was blown. Predator, the first Predator movie. My mind was blown.
Bro. Dude, anything Arnold did at that time was like gold. Yeah. Remember Cobra? Remember Stallone? Cobra?
Cobra was dope. Yeah, Cobra was super dope, man. We were like,
bro.
Man.
The Wraith.
Yeah, the Wraith, Charlie Sheen, yeah. I actually didn't watch that movie until I got older. When I was a kid, I could never catch it on TV, so I never watched it. And then I got older and I watched it in my 20s. I was like,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. She was the sweet, the one that talked like this, and then she'd get real loud.
Yeah.
Oh man,
sad, man. I just watched Police Academy. That's another one I had to sneak and watch. I just watched that the other day. I had bought I got a DVD set with all of them, so I watched all of them. I just binge watched all of them. They were funny. They're super funny. Yeah.
Well, speaking
there
of,
was a lot of comedians in that too that I didn't know.
I didn't know the obviously the sound guy. What's his name?
The guy that did all the sounds. I forget. Yeah, he was super funny, man.
I know his name. I just can't. This one of these.
His name is.
You had Steve Gutenberg. You had. A lot of comedians came out of that, but speaking of kid like 80s and 90s stuff, the Transformers
Rodimus Prime.
The Transformers final twist breaks the heart.
Michael Winslow. Michael
Winslow. That's the one. Michael Winslow. That's him. Yeah, Winslow was him. That was the guy. Boop. Yeah, Jones. That was his name in the thing.
Jones. Yeah, his name was Jones. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, was it Rodimus Prime? So basically,
that was Rodimus. Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, let me see that picture again. It looked like he wasn't Rod. It looked like he was Hot Rod, not Rodimus. Let me see that. That is, I think that's Hot Rod. I think that's him as Hot Rod, not Rodimus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from Transformers Last Bot Standing. The final twist will break the heart of every 90s kid.
Oh no.
When it comes to IDW's publishing Transformers, IDW Comics, fans everywhere know that the Autobots consistently wage battle to destroy the evil, the Decepticons, and these guys. The robots in disguise have saved the universe from Megatron and his ilk many times. But while Optimus Prime and his fellow Autobots may do so with the most noble, of intentions, um, even a just war, has a cost. The Cybertronian War has lasted as long as any Transformer can remember. But just because something has always been doesn't mean that's how it should always be. And in Transformers Last Bot Standing #2, it sort of proves that their endless war against the Decepticons and Autobots ultimately doomed the entire universe, at least according to Hot Rod and his torn up face. But this is great. There's Galvatron. We were just talking about Galvatron the other day. Last Bot Standing #2 picks up where #1 left off, and with a disoriented and aged Hot Rod finding himself stranded on the planet Donok, and explaining the truth of his origin, Shib, the Nebulon, whose family he served for generations. As Rodimus Prime explains his history, the Cybertronian War he was born to fight, he makes it clear that that it was this very same war that's been destroying the universe, not just their planet, not just their enemies, but it's actually having an effect that's rippling out, and affecting the entire universe. And explaining the missing stars, known as the lost lights, in Transformers to Shib, Rodimus describes how endless war with endlessly rebuilt and reconstructed soldiers ultimately drained the universe of its necessary resources. I mean, this war can technically go on forever, right? It's Transformers. They can just keep making more. So it can never end. And all the while draining the resources, energy and things like that. And Rodimus goes so far as to say to Shiva, he says, let me look this thing up. He said, there were no more places left to battle over and to drain our resources. No one to put us back together again. Nothing to put us back together with. We could just end. And while, this paints a bleak picture of the Autobots' future, it casts an even darker shadow over the triumphs of the past. And, after all, there's no question that this interaction draws on the iconic death and resurrection of heroes like Optimus Prime and many others. But it puts the cost of those same victories in horrifying, perspectives. And how they're destroying the universe, basically, in this very issue. Hot Rod himself acknowledges that the Transformers can be rebuilt and resurrected, while the rest of the universe can't. Humans, for example, but their very existence is a drain on natural resources. Its resources are finite, and they're in their zeal to protect that same universe from the evils of the Decepticons. Optimus, Hot Rod, and other Autobots helped ensure that there would hardly be a universe left for the Decepticons to conquer. But at a certain point, they began battling for the sake of it, just to do it, without truly realizing the cost of their actions, might have on life throughout the universe at large. And it's just a good series. Transformers Last Bot Standing is a series that's sort of, it's full of plenty of eye-opening revelations about Transformers lore. So any Transformers mega fan is really going to dig this series. Stu, I know you're going to dig it. That's why I kind of wanted to tell you about it. But with the Autobots' insistence that they're the true heroes of Cybertron, their history of endless battles becomes all, the more heartbreaking. And the way that this is written, the way it's put together, the way it's laid out, they just did it. It's so touching, I guess. I don't really have the words for it, but it's just heartbreaking, man. They just did really dramatically, they just did really well bringing the drama in this series, man, so far. So if you like Transformers, definitely want to check out the Last Bot Standing.
Sounds interesting.
I definitely will. Definitely will.
Yeah.
But I think Transformers is one of the most original. I'm not like some people get it confused, but I think it's one of the most original ideas we've seen in the last 30, 40 years. Um, you had sentient robots that had a society that, transformed into vehicles. Uh, and they fought a war over politics that were related to something like humans would fight for, but it was basically something that would affect robots. If you had a planet full of robots,
Right.
they had two different factions, two different kinds, a bunch of it was just phenomenal, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, for them to come up with something like that and it lasts this long and we're still talking about Transformers now. And they came out like what, 84? Come on, man, that's original.
The 80s, bro. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you had my man Soundwave that transformed into a boombox. And you know that's some 80s shit.
Yeah, so the blaster turned into a boombox.
Blaster too. Yeah, Blaster, and I think it was a third one at some point. But yeah, they're boomboxes don't even
No,
kids.
that was it. It was only the
Boombox.
two. It was only the two. It was only Soundwave and Blaster.
Yeah, in the original joints. Yeah.
Now you did have one that turned Reflector. He was a camera, but he was three separate robots that changed that formed a camera.
Oh yeah.
And then you had triple changers. And they changed into three different. They changed into three different vehicles, like Astro Train. Astro Train changed from a robot to a train to a space shuttle.
Dang.
Yeah, Blitzwing. Yeah, Blitzwing. He was a plane, a tank, and a robot.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now
So,
wait till they bring that to movies. Oh, that'll be crazy.
that would be dope. Yeah.
I love how
when triple changes.
He used to transform into a handgun.
Yes, he's a Walter P-57.
Yeah,
that one I.
And I
now the crazy part is
one of those, but then they make him turn into a tank later.
No. That's his Cybertronian form. Before he came to Earth, that's what he changed into, a tank. And then when he got to Earth, he changed into the Walter P-57. But you got to remember when they transformed,
Starscream didn't Starscream
all the time. Yeah, he would transform and jump in Stars, and Starscream would just. But you got to remember when Megatron transformed into robot form, it weakened him. He actually was stronger as the gun. His firepower was off the chart as the gun. So if he shot you as the gun, you were done, right?
It was a wrap.
You wasn't coming back. You weren't coming back from that shot. So you had Shockwave was another one that transformed into a gun, a cannon. He turned into a straight cannon. Yeah, he's a giant cannon.
That's I don't know why I thought Shockwave was like I thought he did like made seismic activity, like he made earthquakes or something. What am I thinking?
No. Those that's a rabbit. That's Rumble and Frenzy.
Oh, Rumble. Yeah. No, I thought Shockwave did that, but okay. So he turned into a tank, a cannon.
Yeah, he turned into a straight cannon. But you got to remember, they show, like, people used to always debate who was stronger, Megatron or Shockwave. They actually did a storyline one time where Shockwave was stuck on Cybertron. He's like, look, I'm not getting enough energon from you guys. We're up here dying. Like, we got to do something. Megatron, you down there farting around. You guys got energon, whether you beat the Autobots or not. So he comes to Earth and he wreaks havoc on everything and everybody. And he actually wound up taking out Optimus, like all the Autobots. Like he actually took them all, put them all in the stasis mode, except for Bumblebee. Like it was the three weakest Autobots that he didn't get. So it was like Bumblebee, Ratchet, and I think it was Wheeljack. And they were tasked with saving the Autobots, like bringing them back so that they could fight the Decepticons and Shockwave wound up taking over and almost winning the war. If it wasn't for Ratchet, and they actually brought him back and they wound up defeating him. But Shockwave, a shot from him, you're done too. You're literally done. Yeah, you get hit with that. but he's actually more powerful than Megatron in gun mode.
Mm-hmm. And explain Galvatron. Who is Galvatron?
Galvatron was Megatron reborn from Unicron. So Unicron comes across Megatron. He's damaged. You know, he's on his last leg, and Unicron makes a deal with him. So it's like making a deal with the devil. And he says, "Listen, if you destroy the Matrix for me, I'll give you a new body and new troops to command." So Megatron was like, "What's in it for me?" And he was like, "Nothing."
A new
It's like
body
the
and
fact, no, like he was like the fact that I let you live.
all
So
right.
Megatron was like, "That's not good enough for me." He was like, "I don't answer to nobody." So then Unicron's like, "All right, then die." So then
Yeah.
Megatron's like, "All right, wait." It's like, "All right, wait." So he gave him a new body. He turned him into Galvatron, and
Okay.
Galvatron was even more powerful. He
Yeah.
transforms into like a tank, like a rolling tank cannon. And when he transforms into that cannon, he's actually even stronger than he was when he was Megatron. That's why when he
Mm.
shot Starscream, he killed him in one shot. Like he was just like it just like disintegrated because he galvanized any metal that he shot. That's why it's hence the name Galvatron. So it would
Right.
just galvanize and it would crumble. And he was actually the leader of the Decepticons. But they said he took like a plasma bath or something to kind of strengthen his body, but it kind of made him a little bit insane, a little bit off the rocker.
Yeah.
So he was, yeah, so he was a little bit more, he was less stable mentally than Megatron, but he was the new Decepticon leader,
Yeah.
but the old Decepticon leader. So
Yeah. No, because I love that line in Wu-Tang in Impossible when
mhm.
RZA is like he's like was diabolical to the last visible molecule, a space knight like Rom, consumed planets like Unicron, blasting photon bombs from the arm like Galvatron. That
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
dope.
yo, that was dope. Galvatron. Now I was like, because I forgot about Galvatron, from
Yeah,
when I was a
everybody
kid.
does. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm
everybody
like,
forgets
oh.
Galvatron. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that line brought it back for me.
Yeah.
And they got
It's just Megatron reincarnated. That's all.
that's right, that's right. And I remember now when you say that, I totally remember now. And
Yeah, because remember,
they
it
got a
was dope
dope.
the way he did it. Like Starscream was like, "Megatron, is that you?" He was like, "Here's a hint," and he transformed and shot him. And he
Yeah,
just crumbled. He just crumbled in the dust. And then he was like, "Anybody else want to feel his shoes?" And it was like, "What that guy said his name was?" It's like Galvatron. They're like, "Oh yeah, Galvatron, you the man."
yeah. Yeah, Galvatron was dope because Galvatron rocked like a chain. He had a chain with a medallion and shit. Like Galvatron
No,
was
no, no.
dope.
That was when he got the Matrix. Remember when he killed Ultra Magnus? Ultra Magnus was trying to open the Matrix and he couldn't do it.
Ah,
And remember, Galvatron killed him.
okay,
And then no, it wasn't Galvatron. The Scourge and the Sweeps killed him. And then they bought Galvatron the Matrix, and he put it
right,
on a chain and had it around his neck.
right.
And then remember when Unicron went to eat Cybertron, he was
Mm-hmm.
trying to use it, but he couldn't open it. And remember he told Rodimus, he told Hot Rod, he's like, I can't open it. It won't open. And Hot Rod was like, you can't open it because you're not an Autobot. There's no way you'll ever be able to open it. And then he
Mm-hmm.
fought him, and then he beat him, and then he opened the Matrix, and that's what destroyed Unicron.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
but they always give you a Galvatron with that dope
Yeah.
Matrix
You
around.
got you got
Yeah,
the chunk because that
yeah, around it.
the Transformers Red figure that I
Yeah.
showed you. Yeah, that Galvatron, he got the necklace on in it, and it's like a loose chain too. So it's swings. It's
Yeah.
actually it's a dope figure. But them Transformers Reds are not as big as I thought they were. For some reason, I thought they were like this, but they're about
Nah, they're smaller.
7,
Yeah.
8 inches. Like, yeah, they're like they
Yeah.
would go well with my stuff. Like this guy right here, they're kind of about this tall, which they
Yeah.
would
That's
fit,
about right. Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's a dope
that's
sound.
pretty
Where'd you get that? Is that the one that transforms into like a satellite, or does he transform into the
it
cassette player?
transforms to like like a spaceship or something, which I was kind of annoyed with because they've
Yeah.
got the
It's supposed
tape
to be a
deck.
satellite. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
a satellite.
you got the tape deck. Shit opens up. Didn't
Yeah.
come with no tapes. Can't get no tapes for him. But they might make tapes that fit in here. That I looked it up. I think there was some, but this is the legacy version. The only reason I like this one though is because it looks the most like the original. This guy, the original Soundwave, it looks a lot like it, compared to the other versions that are out there. I've seen some versions where the tape deck is a real thin line. Like there's all kind of versions where they just make him look all crazy, but I want him to look like this. That's the 80s joint.
Yeah, I would too.
This little guy.
Yeah,
this thing right here. This transforms into the boombox, into the tape deck. But it's funny, man. You ask a kid nowadays about a boombox, they don't know what it is, and so that's
I want
why
a boombox so bad, man. I'm trying to find one.
But I think they made this. I think they made him transform into a spaceship because they figured kids wouldn't know what the fuck a boombox was.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, he's a cassette player, and what's your name was a boombox. It was just a regular old, like a spy cassette player, like like the kind of reporters use. He was like that.
Yeah,
he was like an old school cassette player. And Blaster was the he was the boombox. He was a straight boombox. Yeah, and I liked the Blaster, but he never got the Blaster never got the popularity that Soundwave had, even though he did the same thing. Yeah, he never had this. Soundwave just looked cool. He sounded cool. His voice was real cool. It was just, you be like, man, like who is this Joker? Yeah, we like the Soundwave. He was.
Damn. Parts falling off and shit. Yeah, I got this. Oh wait, that's the way it go like that. Hold on. Okay. There he goes. Yeah, this was. I mean, I still consider them a boombox.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm the same way. I still consider them straight. Oh, damn, that's the little one you had that transforms.
Yep.
That's dope, bro.
Not only does it transform, the tape deck opens and there's a little tape in it.
Oh wow! Does the tape don't transform? Wow, that's dope though.
They wasn't that raw with it. Nah, the tape don't transform. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be lit.
But you said I ain't getting that lucky, huh?
Yeah, no. But this is but yeah, that I was like, hell yeah, little fucking little mini Soundwave, man. That's my dude. What do you say? Soundwave is dead, and his new idea is Sound Blaster, and he's like the guy you say, Sound Blaster.
Yeah, Sound Blaster. Yeah, they did good, but he turns into like a car or something like that. I actually have the figure. He turns into like a car or something like that. Like a
It's sad. He turns into like I hate it, man. I miss the original Soundwave. It's just like I said, man. It's he got phased out because he's old technology. He turns into something that is not even considered, technology anymore. So I guess he's one of the only Transformers that was time sensitive and actually became unpopular or became obsolete. That's the word. It became obsolete. Let me see. But yeah, so we've got the theatrical release for Marvel, for the MCU. What we can expect this year, it's not much. 3 movies, basically, a couple of things, but what to expect from the movies. You've got 2 trilogy capers, right? You've got the Ant-Man and the Guardians, which will lead up to the Marvels, which is the sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel, which is the only 2023 film with a new director at the helm. Only 3 films, but quite a bit to be excited about. So we thought we'd get you ready by letting you know what to expect from the upcoming slate. Quantumania from the Ant-Man Quantumania. Peyton Reed's Ant-Man film will hold a sort of comedy spot in the mind of MCU fans. A lot of people saw it as a comedy. This movie is still gonna be funny, but they're making it a little less of a comedy, a little more sci-fi. Some people love them. Some people find them incredibly boring, and some people aren't sure why they spent time watching them. But fans may not love Quantumania. It's unlikely anyone will be bored or wonder why they spent time watching it, because this one is it will advance the long form narrative of Marvel Studios' multiverse saga more than any project has so far. So that's a bit, and expect big action. A wild antagonist in Corey Stoll's MODOK. We're gonna get MODOK. Some surprising revelations about the Ant family and a knockout performance by Jonathan Majors as Kang. We saw him do a little bit of that in the Loki series, but Kang is going to be all about getting out of the quantum realm to go about conquering, and being Kang the Conqueror. Also expect some interesting twists and turns, double crosses, unresolved issues that will set the gears in motion for the big Avengers films at the end of the saga. Your Secret Wars and stuff like that. I'm waiting for Sada to pop back in. And then we've got Guardians 3, the most anticipated MCU film for me outside of the Mutant.
What?
Period.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah, the only movie I'm more anticipating is the mutant stuff, and that's just because obviously I'm a big fan of mutants, and I want to see what they're gonna do, but I don't know if it's gonna be good. This I know is gonna be good already, because the first two were, my favorite movies of the MCU. Guardians movies are my favorite out of the MCU, and same team is gonna be making it. No reason to think it's not gonna be as dope as the first two. And we get Adam Warlock, who is a super dope, super underrated Marvel character. So hopefully they'll do him some justice, and we'll get a character that we can actually use down the line and reuse and get some real, Adam Warlock out of it, because there's a lot for that character to do. But originally it was targeted for 2020. Guardians 3 was actually supposed to come out when COVID came out and fucked it up with a lot of other stuff, but it's the last chapter in James Gunn's Guardians trilogy, and his time at Marvel Studios now as well. It'll come out this summer, with the promise that not everyone will make it out alive, and no one will make it out unchanged. Speaking of the Guardians team itself, the emotionally charged first trailer that we saw made it clear that just about every member of the team is going to face some life or death situation, or some life altering, or some really emotional, situations, as they investigate Rocket's origins and his ties to the High Evolutionary, who is another character that is really cool, really underrated, that we're going to get to see in this movie. The High Evolutionary is going to.
Yeah, I hope so. I do. I really hope so.
Character. It could be good. And also expect great music. Guardians movies have always had phenomenal soundtracks.
Great soundtracks. Yes.
Crazy good. A Day Late and a Dollar Short adaptation of Adam Warlock. An unsettling villain in Chakudi Iwuji's oddball High Evolutionary and Tears. It's weird. But while death is on the line, for the Guardians, our money is on Dave Bautista's Drax kicking the bucket, because given his expression of relief that the silly performance of the character is behind him, he didn't like it. He's over it. And also, like we've talked about, he's getting up there in age. He doesn't want to have to, eat broccoli and boiled chicken for a year to keep that figure and all of that. So he's like, man, I'm done with the shirt off roles where I got to wear no shirt.
I seen an interview where he was like, man, sometimes I just want to eat a cheeseburger. I was dying. Like, sometimes I just want a cheeseburger. And he did say that. He said he's just getting too old to have his shirt off all the time.
Yeah. So I'm betting he's the one that's gonna die. Because someone's gonna die. We're sure of that. Maybe more than one. Maybe it'll be Drax and someone else, but that's who I'm thinking we're gonna lose. But I can't wait. I don't care. It's gonna be dope. The third movie in question, I have no interest in seeing.
What?
I have no interest in seeing the Marvels. I will still see it, and maybe it'll be great. And I'm not saying it can't be good. They have given me nothing to be interested in it. They've given me nothing thus far to make me interested in this movie so far. Not saying it won't be good, but yeah, Miss Marvel, Wasn't come on. And then the Kamala Khan thing, cool if you're a teenage girl. It's cool. And like I'm saying, it's not that they're bad characters or there's anything wrong with them. It's just not for a 45-year-old man. It's not for me, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
that's not to say
Well,
there's anything wrong with it. It's just not for me.
you know, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm
Yeah.
like you. I'm just not looking. Like it's not a movie. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till that come out. But when it
Right.
comes out, I'm gonna watch it. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just not in. I'm just not hard up for it. But I'm gonna watch it. And if it's
Mhm.
good, I'll give it its props. But if it's not,
Yeah.
that's just another example of them with the MCU and another
Yeah.
failed MCU project. That just
MCU.
all the MCU projects just keep failing. So
Yeah.
hopefully this one does well. And one of the reasons why I think they did is because the Miss Marvel series was a small hit for Disney, whereas in Captain Marvel wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, no matter how much they try to make her manly and powerful, and just they gave her the modern day shortcut, and just made her more of a protruding presence. Um,
Right.
it just ultimately failed. Like Marvel has to understand you can't push. There's just certain female characters you can't push to the front. Just can't do it. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't,
Um,
it was it was a lot, the Brie Larson thing. But this movie, they're saying that they are, they're going in a totally different direction for Captain Marvel, for the franchise under the direction of Nia DaCosta, which is a new director for Marvel. And it's a bit of a risky move having the film's two co-leads and the main plot device be products of Disney Plus streaming series that not all moviegoers have watched. Because like two of the characters, you've got Monica Rambeau and you've got Kamala Khan. Both of those characters have only been in shows, on Disney Plus. They're not from the movies, and they're two of the main characters in this show. It's Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, then it's Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan. Those three Captain Marvels. So there's a risk there, but
there is.
I think it's a nice change of pace, and the franchise needs that after a very less than stellar fourth phase
Yeah,
in first outing. Yeah,
the
but expect
MCU phase.
right. Expect a much more upbeat, fast-paced film than the original Captain Marvel was, and the
God,
possibility that
the last one was kind of slow. It was really
yeah,
slow.
yeah,
And it could have
and
been
the
a better movie.
It could have been better. Yeah, yeah. And the possibility that Iman Vellani steals the show.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, because why not? She was great. Captain Kamala Khan. We watched that show. I think Stu, you watched it too, and it was
It
not a
wasn't bad.
show. Yeah, it's
It
not a
wasn't
show that
bad.
I would have. Yeah, it's not something I normally probably would have watched, but I'm glad I did because it was actually really well made. I checked it out. It was
Yeah, it
actually
was.
really well made.
It really
I didn't
was. Yeah,
finish
it
it.
was.
I'll be honest, I didn't finish it, but I didn't need to. I know where it goes, But it was good.
Right.
It was well done. I will say, compared to the other MCU TV shows, cinematically, everything, it was definitely on a par above a lot of them. It seemed almost movie quality. And I'm not talking about the story. I'm not talking about the characters, none of that. I'm just talking about the quality of the film, of the production, whatever. Was great. So and she was great. She was a great character. She played it well. She wasn't really annoying. I anticipated being really annoyed by that character, by that show, by that whole thing, and I wasn't. It was actually not bad. But
Okay.
like I said, despite the wacky body swapping premise, it's not all fun and games. However, as the Marvels has a very real and terrifying tie to the big arc of the multiverse saga that will help fans who have so adamantly repeated that they don't know where things are headed figure out where things are headed. So, but that's it. Those are the three movies we're getting this year from Marvel. And I think 2 out of 3 of them are going to be really good. One of them might be okay.
What's
All right.
I know Guardians and the Marvels. What's the other one that we're getting?
Quantumania.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be Quantumania, then it'd be Guardians, then it'd be the Marvels. And Quantumania, there's a lot of promising stuff. They'll do a lot of stuff in the quantum realm, so a lot of sci-fi stuff. We're gonna get MODOK, and I heard some.
Oh,
yeah, but not. I heard some rumors that it wasn't gonna be MODOK like we know, like the big head with the arm. That it's just gonna be more like a humanoid kind of guy, and I really hope that's not true.
Oh no! See,
really
this is what happens when they
we
radically
need that.
stray from the material, and then they wonder why the response is the way it is. Like, come on, y'all.
Exactly.
So
Not
hopefully
hard to
that is
figure out.
false.
Yeah, hopefully. Because yeah, I don't know why they do that shit. You know, the reason that people would be excited for MODOK to be in the movie would be to see MODOK that we know, not some other character that you've named MODOK. What does that do for anybody? I don't know where they.
Nothing. It only serves the actor because their face can be more on screen and their physique and everything. That's all it serves, and that's it.
And they can put on their resume that they played this big famous character.
Right.
We never saw. That we never
saw. Right.
But yeah,
that's what I was saying before. You can't stray too far from the original material.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do your own version, like an Elseworlds type thing.
You know, make little changes, but you don't have to change the entire.
Right. You don't have to change the entirety of it all, the integrity of it all. You're like, dang, man, can we get anything
like
original? Like,
because I mean, nobody's gonna be like, and I just using this name, but nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, James Gunn's Ant-Man is great. It's not James Gunn's Ant-Man. It's Stan Lee's. It's Marvel. We know that. No matter what you do to it, Mr. Director, Mr. Writer, no matter how you change it, we're never going to be like, oh, you did that. And no one's going to be like, you did so much better than Stan Lee. Your version was much better than the comics that I grew up. No, that's never going to happen. So I don't know what they're going for. I digress. I'm ranting.
Oh man, I can't believe we're only getting actually no, I'm glad we're only getting 3 movies from the MCU this year. I guess I'm only really because I feel like if it were anything more than 3 movies, it'd be too much. And things would suffer. I mean, they're pushing it with 3 movies this year. And they're big movies like
Guardians was supposed to come out in 2020.
Yeah, Guardians, that makes sense. So, but you got Quantumania, and I mean that's going to be big, and the Marvels. I don't really care about that film, but I guess it'll connect to what's happening. So,
yeah. I mean, but again, man, that's all about the man. Stand the man, baby.
Yeah, because I remember when the Spider-Man, the first one came out, McGuire. The second one, he wanted to be on screen more and all this other. And Stan Lee told him, he said, I had to sit down and have a meeting with the kid and said, look, the movie's called Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Not Tobey
so
Maguire.
He said, people want to see, he said, people want to see Spider-Man swinging around in a suit. That's what they paid their money to see. So he said, I had to tell him, like, you can't be on the screen 90% of the time.
Yeah, no, there's got to be a
screen time.
Yeah, and it's like,
you can
who do you think you are? Like, who do these guys think? Really, do you think people are coming to this movie because Tobey Maguire's in it? No. They're coming to it because it's Spider-Man. Like,
now it's because of Tobey Maguire, but it's because he played Spider-Man. So
Spider-Man, exactly,
yeah.
So you got to give it to Spider-Man, Tobey. You can't act like you're the draw here. You're not the draw. So give it up. But that's any actor.
That's what he acts like. He acts like he's the draw.
Hugh Jackman. I say the same thing to Hugh Jackman, bro. You're not the draw. Put the fucking mask on. Okay.
You're getting your wish, I think, right? You're getting your wish.
Well, almost.
Listen. Do you know how big? You know how big? This is what I always say. Hollywood's not that smart. Do you know how big those movies would have been had he just donned the original costume with the mask?
We got blue balled at the end of the Wolverine.
And let's keep it a buck. Wolverine always takes his. He always takes. It's like a.
Yeah, and it like sits on his neck. Like that's so iconic. Like
on his neck, right? But when he goes into action, you know, he pulls the joint up like, all right, it's time to be Wolverine. Like, let's get it.
Yeah,
and
like
they just won't. They just I don't. Right, like it sits back there, right, just like that. So he's ready to go to action. When he go to action, he pulls that joint up. So it's just sad that they won't acknowledge that, man.
Yeah. Maybe with this new
that's what we want, Reno. We want that version of Wolverine right there.
Exactly.
On the movie screen.
I want the X-Men and like recognizable should we ever get them in the MCU, I would want them in like recognizable suits.
Like, everybody would.
Or like weird.
The black, the tight black leather. Yeah, the tight black leather didn't work. Nobody liked it. Nobody bought the toys with the tight black leather. Nobody. No. Should have just put them in their regular blue and gold.
It makes them distinct. Like they stand out. Like look at that.
Yellow and blue. Wear the costume.
Yeah, wear the costume. You just gave us yellow and blue. Everybody would have been much happier.
Right, especially by the third movie. Like, come on now. Third movie, both sets of franchises. None of them donned the blue. I just don't understand.
They all had on black leather jackets and tight leather pants, and that's just I don't know. That's just
yeah.
We should have learned our lesson with Iron Fist because Iron Fist director, he bombed that with and he even came. We're gonna put him in the suit. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And guess what? Nobody watched it, and you got canceled. So
yeah. Well, now they're talking about reusing stuff or the Avengers Secret Wars movie will have an Endgame-style plot. The movie will have the superhero team journey across the multiverse instead of using time travel. But we're a few years and a phase away from Secret Wars, but the story details are already being revealed. According to new rumors, Secret Wars may be borrowing the plot from Endgame.
That worked out so well.
Yeah. Hollywood Scooper heavy spoilers shared on Twitter's key details about the potential story Avengers Secret Wars. According to the leaker, the upcoming Avengers movie will have an Endgame style plot, except it will use the multiverse instead of time travel. To quote the exact tweet, he says, "From what I've heard about Avengers Secret Wars, they basically want to do Endgame, but with the multiverse instead of time travel. Instead of going to key points in the MCU like they did with AE, they'll be traveling to key universes across the wider multiverse."
No.
The new leak corroborates previous rumors about the final movie, but previous rumors suggest the characters from the Fox Marvel universe and other major characters making appearance in Secret Wars, including Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine and some of the X-Men characters and stuff like that from a multiversal sort of way. And then there's also reports that Robert Downey Jr. could be returning as Tony Stark, for maybe a cameo or a multiverse deal. Previous rumors. Yeah, but I mean that's the same thing they did with the Spider-Man movie with the 3 Spider-Mans. It was just bringing back those iconic, So
right. But it was on like a small scale, bringing back those 3 Spider-Man. I mean, of course, the movie was on a huge scale, but as far as the cameo base, small scale, you basically going to sell Secret Wars with a bunch of cameos and nostalgia bait from what came before. According to
when all you have to do is stick to the source material, Marvel.
I don't understand. Like the worst aspect of the game was the time travel.
They're going with what works. That's what they're doing. They're saying, okay, people loved that last Spider-Man movie with all those cameos. Let's do a bigger movie with more cameos and see how much they like it.
That's Hollywood for him.
And it's like you should learn from Multiverse of Madness because you tried to do that again and it didn't work. So I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Well, they killed all the cameo heroes. Everybody was pissed about that. Like,
man.
And you
But
didn't really touch on the multiverse in that movie. Not
it
as
was
much.
more about the Scarlet Witch than
Yeah.
anything else. But yeah, it's the previous rumors suggest that the actor will be making a comeback as the new, Tony Stark, I mean, will come back as an AI for Riri Williams' Ironheart suit. So in the comics, so in the comics, there's Tony. There's even a Marvel Legends figure that they made of it with a clear blue Tony Stark head that goes in Iron Man's suit, because he basically forms as like an AI hologram. Yeah, and so like Robert Downey Jr. coming back wouldn't be like, "Hey guys, it's Tony Stark." I mean, he'd be coming back as AI.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, and then rumors also point to a possible return for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Might as well, right? Bring them all in.
Just bring them all back.
Yeah. So, because that worked. So,
stuff them in there.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that again. Yeah, we'll do that again. We'll do that.
Yeah. And then there's speculations that Marvel Studios is trying to get as many heavy hitters as they can for the upcoming movie. According to rumors, Kevin Feige wants to recreate the portal scene from Endgame and feature, almost every known Marvel character from the past to the present. The scene where the portals opened up and all the guys came in and stuff too. But Feige's dream and his vision. Hold on, I'm reading this. This says Feige's dream and his vision is to have a similar scene to the portals one at the end of Avengers Endgame. However, instead of just being restricted to MCU characters, we'll have multiple Marvel franchises converging at this point. So not just people we've seen in previous movies, but people from the comics that we have not seen ever just being introduced. So that could be
hopefully that vision dies. And
it includes Andrew. Yeah, I mean Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Hugh Jackman, other X-Men movies members, Fantastic Four movies members, characters, actors, whatever, and so on. So all that stuff, and then Kang will have ravaged multiple dimensions at this point, and there will be a final stand against him, obviously. And if the rumors are true, then it would make for one epic movie. And Michael Waldron, the screenwriter for Secret Wars, will have an unbelievable task of making a colossal movie that will attempt to outdo Endgame in terms of scale. And that's their goal. They're trying to beat Endgame. And I don't know why.
Let it be clear. It'll be one epic moment in the film, because that is what people recall most from Endgame, is that final portal scene, that final whole battle scene.
Yeah, which was the last hour of a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. So I'm not hearing anything about the story, so I'm a little worried. But we got some years, so I'm I'm ease up. But
I'm hoping the story resembles the comics Secret War in some way. So
because I wouldn't mind like Fantastic Four
for
that, because that's part of the storyline. But it just feels like you want to bring them in for not to service the story, but to service nostalgia bait, and that's not cool. Like,
no, well, that's the whole thing. That whole Spider-Man movie was all nostalgia bait. There was no story. Like when I go back and think about the movie, it was
it wasn't. It really wasn't. And I'm guilty. I love the nostalgia bait of that movie. Ooh,
no, it was fun. Sure,
the story was always not good.
Right. Yeah.
I thought the story was okay, so I liked it. I thought it was.
It wasn't bad. No, it was. But
it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
It wasn't the scale that the movie was. The movie was acted like it was this great film, but it was just the nostalgia that made it great. Without the nostalgia, it was just a good movie.
Yeah, and a lot of it was hinged on Peter being an idiot. And I just hate and it was building for me because Peter's been an idiot his entire trilogy, and that's just not Peter Parker. He can be a little naive, but he's not dumb. And for the whole plot to hinge on that was just like so for me.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that too. Yeah, because they did make Tom Holland seem sort of like neurotic or clumsy or just kind of maybe, like you said, maybe dumb or whatever, but definitely not how Peter Parker should be.
No,
No, but
because in the comics he's not sloppy. He's not clown.
Yeah,
He's
like
just
he's very precise with what he does.
he's a nerd. Yeah, he's just a nerd. And he's
Oh, wow.
Spider-Man.
This thing I was just reading, it says Don Cheadle was says that Marvel gave him 2 hours to agree to a 6-movie deal while he was at his kid's laser tag birthday party.
Nice. Great. No pressure.
No. But I guess he took the deal. I guess that's when he replaced Terrence Howard.
Listen. Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, now, you know what? I always wondered why they replaced Terrence Howard.
Yeah, what was it? Was it like drama behind the scenes? Was he a diva or something? Like what happened? I didn't find him as Rhodey. I don't know.
Yeah, I because they offered him $1 million to return, and he chose not to. Later he claimed that Robert Downey stole his paycheck. So it was weird. But I don't know. Terrence, he did, and then maybe he didn't want to, because Terrence is an actor. He didn't want to be.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to be locked in.
Right, he didn't want to be in the suit.
Comic movies.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want to be locked into comic movies. Because he's a trained actor. But thankfully, they did find that solid replacement in Don Cheadle, who is also a great actor. Ocean's 11, Hotel Rwanda. I mean, this guy is a real actor. But he played Rhodey in 7 movies. Appeared in 2 Disney Plus shows. So he really, he did the.
He had like a Bourne type movie too. What was that called? What was that called? The something. I forget what it was, but he had like a Bourne type movie where he was like this badass super spy type dude.
Movies and TV shows. Let me see if we can find it.
Yeah.
I think it was called the something.
The Guard?
No, not The Guard. It was
Traitor? No, that might not be it.
The Traitor. I think that was it. I think it was
Traitor? Okay.
Oh my god.
I think that was it.
You remember, you guys have heard me talk about the High Republic and Star Wars and like this new sort of. Well, now they've got one Jedi that chose a shield over a lightsaber.
Oh, is it a lightsaber shield?
Yeah, like
no.
Oh,
just
is it made
Star
out
Wars?
Of, is it made out of Beskar?
I hope, and he's just Captain America for Star Wars. I mean, God, they suck. I hate.
How unique and interesting.
Yeah, I think it was the Traitor side. I think it was that was a good movie with. I think it was a good movie with Don Cheadle. It was kind of like Bourne, like a mix between Bourne and I don't know, James Bond, something like that. It was a good movie. Get a chance, check it out.
Yeah, he's an agent. Oh well, wait, no. Yeah. He's a formal special ops soldier who now is terrorist. Well, according to the plot, but yeah.
And it was called what?
The Traitor.
The Traitor.
Oh, I did. Yeah, Traitor. Yeah, Traitor was dope.
I watched that. That looks pretty good.
Nah, it was good. It was good. Can't take. I mean, I love Bourne. I love Jason Bourne. That's my boy.
Yeah,
Bourne is dope.
My mom loves Jason Bourne. I like him too.
Yeah, Jason Bourne is super dope.
Yeah,
but the Traitor, that was good.
I remember they tried to do Jason Bourne with Jeremy Renner. The Bourne Legacy. I was like, oh, okay. Kind of veered off the path. No,
it was fun. It was fun to watch, but it wasn't as good as the other Bourne.
Nah, Jeremy Renner is my boy. Like that was. It was dope, but yeah, I was already too into Bourne at the time, man. I was like, nah, man.
He's like, nah, it's not my guy.
I mean, we reading the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Deception. The books go. It's a lot of them.
Ooh, I didn't know it was based on.
Yeah,
books.
I heard. Yeah, I heard it was a lot of books. Yeah, I heard it was a lot of them. Yeah,
I would read the books. Oh yeah.
I've never read one.
Never
read. His memory is a blank. His memory is a blank. His bullet-ridden body was fished from the Mediterranean Sea. His face has been altered by plastic surgery, something not in the movie. A frame of microfilm has been surgically implanted in his hip. Even his name is a mystery. Marked for death, he is racing for survival through a bizarre world of murderous conspirators led by Carlos, the world's most dangerous assassin. Who is Jason Bourne? The answer may kill him. That is the first. Yeah, that's the first synopsis to the first book.
Nice.
And when I say there's a lot of them, like look at that list.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm seeing like.
See that list? Those are all from like here down. Those are all. It's like the Apocalypse Watch, the Aquitaine Progression, the Chancellor Manuscript, the Cry of the Haladin, the Gemini Contenders, the Holocroft Covenant. I mean, it goes on. The Icarus Agenda, the Maltese Circle. It's like 30 of them. 50, 20, 30. I don't know how many. A lot. Anyway, it's really good. Guys, we've been on what 2 hours, 10 minutes. I do have a toothache right now that's killing me, so we got to kind of call it. But yeah, man, we'll be back. We'll be back Wednesday, as you know, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 6:30 Eastern PM. 6:30 PM Eastern time is what I meant to say. But Friday, okay, this Friday at 12 noon, guys, mark your calendars. Friday at 12 noon, we got a big show. My man SO from Math Hoffa, from Bag Fuel, rather, sorry, is coming on the show to chop it up with us. So, yeah, mark your calendars, guys. Friday at noon, we will be here chopping it up. So we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.